Good morning, beautiful people. I'm going to bring you a message today before we jump into this brand new work week. And this message comes from love, from light, this energy that exists deep within each of us, the energy that is our own divinity, the energy that is abundant in Mother Nature. If we would just sit down and sit with her and listen to her, believe in the stories that she is trying to tell us. This energy that exists within every deep, authentic interaction between two souls. It's this energy that creates space for truth, for expansion. It's this energy that is always giving us enough space to find ourselves and to reconnect with the world around us. So, with all that being said, let's tap right into that energy and see what guidance she can bring us as we move through this current time where separation seems to be the loudest voices, where fear seems to be ruling the show, where the goal of so many people in power is to keep us from embracing our own truth, our own human divinity, to keep us in a place where we think that we need to look for others above us to give us the rights and the freedom to be our true selves. That is an inherent birthright. The universe is saying right down to me that no one needs to give you permission to be yourselves. Yes, there may be spaces where it's safer to do it than others, but in your own being, in your own time with yourself, in your own quiet moments, with your few trusted loved ones, the family, whether they be a family of birth or family of your choosing, there is safety in those spaces to embody your true self, to embody your highest and best, that part of you that is divine. So let's figure out what the messages from Spirit. How do we do more of that? How do we do more of that each day? Because that is the energy when we are embodied as much as we possibly can be in this lifetime. When those of us who are feeling the call are bringing our divinity to the surface as closely as possible, that's when things begin to shift. Because with that many of us lit up, with that many of us in joy, with that many of us in service, there's no way that the fear will be able to stand. There's no way that this power of separation will be able to stand. So, as you can probably tell, I'm already stepping into message work, but let's slow the process down and ask Spirit to bring us a message directly of how we do more of that. So they're saying that the energy of fear and separation, this energy that believes that it is truth, this energy that believes it is quote unquote reality, is not infinite. So what they're saying is the energy right now that is ruling the show, the energy that is causing so much harm and pain, the energy that's causing so much fighting among ordinary, everyday humans, the energy that is telling us that we're too small, too weak, and that we need important people to direct history's course, right? That energy is not infinite. It feels like it's infinite because anyone who's a historian, anyone who's a scholar can see these patterns going through human history, where it seems to be that always this energy comes back to the surface. This energy of right makes might, or might makes right. This energy of divide and conquer. This energy of fear, right? So it feels like there's no way to get rid of it. That is always going to be something we're battling. And what Spirit is saying right now, right here, clear as day, is that energy is not infinite. It's actually a distortion of love energy. Everything is love energy, right? Everything is, that is where we get back to the principle in physics, is energy cannot be created nor destroyed, right? But energy can be healed. Energy can be recalibrated. energy can be filtered. And right now, love energy is being filtered through this false understanding. Energy is being filtered through this fear. So what we need to do is remember that every experience exists on a spectrum, with love on one side and fear on the other. The more and more our actions and the more and more our thoughts, the more and more our speech, the more and more our inner workings are tied to fear, right? The further away all those things become from love, because we're tying it, we're filtering it through this understanding of lack and this need to protect, and conquering oppression is really coming from this idea of fear. It's fear of other, it's fear of self, it's fear of both, right? So what they're saying is they want us to know that this energy that we're struggling against once again in our human history, it's not infinite. The more and more souls and hearts that we can reach, the more and more interactions that we can heal, the more and more love that we can bring to the surface. It's all about like shining love into those dark spots. The more and more that energy will heal and be transformed back into the love energy that it was created from. That is where we get back to some messages from earlier, from last week actually, where it was talking about needing to actually release any of the garbage that's attached to love back to Mother Earth for her to recycle, to provide nutrients. That's what that's all about. It's saying that Mother Earth wants us to take those things that we're holding in our body as empath. When we witness pain, when we witness struggle, when we witness fear, when we witness people lashing out, to take it, see it, witness it, and then give it back to Mother Earth, because she can do the work to filter the energy and bring the love back out, while using all of those gnarly bits to actually provide nutrients for a current and future life. Don't ask me how she does that. I don't know, but this is what Spirit's telling me, right? So it's not infinite. It's just a bunch of energy that needs to be cleared, and a bunch of energy that needs to be healed and recalibrated. So what they're saying is the easiest way for anyone listening to do that is to find that energy within your own system, right? The energy of oppression and domination. Do you have any energy where you believe that you are better than others, where you believe that things should be a certain way, where you believe other people's voice should be meek and quiet, and where you believe that you should have more power in a social hierarchy, in a familial hierarchy, and any hierarchy? That is energy where that darkness, that ick is resonant within you, and you can heal that easily, right? Do you have any belief in your system that every human isn't divine, that every human does not have a bit of Christ light within them? If you do, then that's something that you need to clear, because that's just a smaller kernel of this larger energy that's operating in the world. So if you can clear that within yourself, it's a little less power for it to feed on, right? Do you have any energy within yourself where you don't believe that Mother Earth is a partner within us, that we are meant to be in relationship with her, that we are meant to honor her as she honors us? Do you have any of that resonating in your body? If you do, then you need to clear that, because then again, this larger narrative that is taking place right now, that gets cleared, it has less for it to feed off of. It has less of it to tune into in in everyday reality. So what they're saying is like that is the best way for us to start clearing some of this energy, because it's not infinite. It's just a distortion of the light. It's just a distortion of love. So if we can clear it, if we can heal it, that is how we eventually get this storyline to stop playing out. But if we're focusing all of our energy outward on what everyone else is doing wrong, right? What everyone else is missing, right? And we're not doing that inner work, that is how the energy gets never gets dispelled, never gets settled, never gets cleared, right? So the message for today is, yes, bear witness to what is happening in this world. Like, that is really important for us to not live in a reality where we're disconnected from the loudest story, right? We need to kind of keep aware of what the loudest story is right now, because that tells us more about what our mission is and why we're doing the things we do. But we need to stop focusing on the actions of others and asking, what are we doing to clear those little dark spots in ourselves? Because realize that if they still exist within us, the larger energy is using that to feed off of. And the other thing is, when we get tired, when we get exhausted, when we feel like I've pushed up against this day after day after day, month, year, decade after decade, and we're still back to where we are, when we get to those moments of exhaustion and we haven't cleared that energy from ourselves, that's when it can switch within us, and it can actually grow in strength. It's like from that burnout and exhaustion is when we give up, we become jaded, and we just decide to feed that energy, because what's the point? So it's really important as we continue to do this work, because it's a marathon, that we clear that out of our systems, so that if we ever get to a point where we're not doing self-care and we get to those tired out moments, there's less of it to activate within us. So that is part of the way of breaking the cycle, is not to focus so much on what other people are doing, but to focus on our own dark spots, our own spots where we're still carrying some of that programming, where we're still carrying some of those stories, where we're still playing into the cultures and the systems and structures that injure people. Clear that out of ourselves, and that way it has less to feed on. So I'm going to leave that with you with love and light. Hopefully it makes sense. I'll listen back to it later. It felt right in my body, so I will give you that much. Have a great day, everyone.